Hi, it's First Lady here, and today I am making a classic carrot cake, but this is my Aunt Margarita's carrot cake recipe. It's not mine. I texted her and I was like, Aunt Rita, I need a carrot cake recipe, and she makes the best carrot cake. So I'm going to make her recipe, all right? So let's start off with the ingredients that we're going to need. We're going to need some all-purpose flour. We're going to need some sugar. We're going to need some baking powder. And it's going to be 2 cups of all-purpose flour. It's going to be 2 teaspoons of baking powder. It's going to be 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. And then, of course, we're going to need 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, a teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of sugar. We're going to need 4 eggs. We're going to need some oil. So I have some pure vegetable oil here. And, of course, we're going to have the grated carrots. And then we're going to have some crushed pineapple. This is a big can, but I'm not going to use the whole can because I really need a small can, but I couldn't find a small can. So actually, I'm just going to probably use half, like maybe 8 to 10 ounces of crushed pineapple. And of course, chopped pecans. So I'm using these pecan chips. All right, so that's the ingredients that we need for the cake. And then for the frosting, we're going to need 2 cups of powdered sugar. I see that powdered sugar right there. We're going to need a stick of butter. And it calls for a half a stick of margarine and a half a stick of butter, but I don't buy margarine, so I normally just have butter. So we're just gonna go with the butter. And then of course an 8-ounce package of cream cheese and a teaspoon of vanilla, and that's gonna make the icing. So it's a cream cheese icing or a cream cheese frosting for the cake. All right, so we have gathered all of our ingredients. I need to get a few more things together, and I'm gonna peel a little bit these carrots and grate them, and we'll be ready to start. I'll be right back. All right, as you can see, I have all of my dry ingredients, the all-purpose flour, the baking powder, the baking soda. I added the cinnamon in here, which is 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of salt, the 2 cups of sugar. So these are all of the dry ingredients that I'm just sort of stirring around. And so this is the dry ingredients, and then I'm gonna go in with the wet ingredients, which are the eggs, the oil, the carrots, the pineapple, and I'll add the crushed or chopped pecans. All right, we are moving right along, and I'll show you the wet ingredients as I am putting them together into this mixture. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm just grating the carrots. It calls for 2 cups of carrots, and I'm trying not to grate my fingers in the process. But as you can see, I'm trying not to let big chunks go in there, but 2 cups of grated carrots. All right, there you go. And you can see that that is pretty much enough just to have some freshly grated carrots in this recipe, okay? All right, so now I think we have all of our wet ingredients that we're gonna use. So let me move that to the side. So we have the 4 eggs. They're gonna go in one at a time, of course. We have the carrots that we just grated. We've got the oil, and then we've got this crushed pineapple, okay? So it's gonna go in with all of these ingredients, all right? So let's go ahead. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I did my little pans here. These are my little Martha Stewart 9-inch cake rounds. I greased and floured them. I hope I'm supposed to do that. I forgot to ask my Aunt Rita. Aunt Rita, am I supposed to do that? Oh, well, we'll find out. All right, I'm thinking when you do a cake, you need to grease and flour your pans. So maybe that's pretty much a given. But it's going to go in my preheated oven. My oven is preheated at 350. And it's gonna go in there for about 50 minutes or until it comes out, well, 35 to 40 minutes or until it comes out clean. All right, so why don't we start with the oil? All right, let's go in with the oil. 1 cup of She said Crisco, but I don't have Crisco. I just have vegetable oil. So just whatever you have, I guess. And you can see because that cinnamon is in there, it's already taking on that color of a spice cake. So you can already see what it's looking like. And this is a cake that you use just a spatula or, you know, whatever you're going to use to stir it with. And you don't have to use a cake mixer, you know, it's just really, you're going to have to do this with your hands. This is one of those kind of cakes. All right, so here we go. All right, so now that we've done that, all right, so now after I'm adding the oil, okay, now I need to add the eggs. One at a time. Just mixing them up. You can see it almost looks like brown sugar, right? The consistency of it. That's because it has all that cinnamon in it. Okay, so each one of these eggs is going to go in. And I'm just going to keep getting all this stirred in. And this is a pretty easy recipe, and I'm not following it exactly to the letter, but we'll see how it turns out. All right, so what I'll do is I'm going to keep adding these eggs, and then the next thing after I get through adding the eggs, I'm going to add the carrots, all right, and then I'm going to add the pineapple, all right? So I'll be back, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, adding the carrots. We're gonna stir these in and then we'll add the pineapple. All right, so let me get this all mixed in good. And then we'll add the pineapple. All right, so you can see how this batter looks. I have incorporated all the carrots, and now it is time to add the crushed pineapple. And it calls for a small can of crushed pineapple, but I have a big can, so I'm not sure how this is going to work with the juice. I may need to pour some of it out. Now I'll just take what's left and pour it in. So this is probably about maybe half. So I'll pour that in with the juice. All right, hope it's not too much. All right. Ooh, I'm nervous. But she said pour it in with the juice, so I hope it doesn't make it too moist, but we will see, right? The batter was very thick at first, so now it's not so thick. So let's hope that it all comes out. All right? So I'm just going to stir this, and we're going to add in the nuts. And that is the final ingredient that we add because we've added everything else. And so I have these pecan chips, and it's basically, it calls for crushed pecan, so I'm just going to use these in here, and that's going to be the final thing. And I guess the pineapple juice makes it do what it needs to do. I don't know. I hope I didn't put too much in there. I don't know. We shall see. But this is going to have to bake. All right. So now we add the nuts. So I'll come back and I'll show you how it looks when I add the nuts. And it's going to go into my baking pans. All right. I'll be right back. All right. We're going to add all of this. This is 2 ounces of pecan chips. So hopefully you can see that down at the bottom. 2 ounces. So this is 2 ounces of crushed pecans or chopped pecans. Okay. Just gonna go right in because it calls for like, I think it's a half a cup of chopped pecans. So we'll see. All right. Now let's stir it all in. This batter is very moist. I'm a little bit nervous, Lord. All right, but we'll see. Maybe I should have used a little less of the pineapple juice, but we'll see. All right, now we're gonna go right into these pans. I'm gonna try to get it in here evenly between the two of them. So there's just moving a little bit of stuff over here. Okay, out of my way. All right, so let's see. Let's see how it's gonna work. Make sure we got it all stirred up the way it needs to be. And I left my tripod at the church, so this is me holding the camera for you guys, so apologies on that. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's get this batter into the pan. Okay, and it's hard to tell if it's half or not, but we'll go ahead and do the other one. And if we have to come back and even it out, we will. Okay, so let's see. You know how when you use these cake rounds, it's like you want it to be even. And sometimes it's hard to do that. All right. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. This is it. This is what the carrot cake batter looks like. And so it's gonna go into the oven, 350 for about, I don't know, your oven is gonna have to tell you when, because my oven, it's never the amount of time that it's supposed to be, so it's always more. All right, so I don't know, it says 40 minutes, but I'm sure mine will probably be closer to an hour. So we'll come back and I'll show you when I'm putting them in the oven. All right, I just popped them in the oven. All right, both of the cake pans are going in, so we shall see. We'll set the timer for about 45 minutes. All right, there we go. I'll be back to see. Let's cross our fingers. Okay, we have about a minute left, but I think we need to go ahead and pull these out. They look ready. Let's check them. They smell amazing. Look how beautiful. Okay, so this is what they look like, guys. And so I'm just gonna test it with a toothpick to see if the toothpick comes out clean. Oh my gosh. Auntie! Aunt Rita! I'm so excited! All right, let's pull the other one out. Okay. Y'all, this is my Aunt Rita's carrot cake recipe. Okay, so we pull the other one out. Toothpick coming out clean. I think that means that they are ready. What about you guys? All right, so let's check this one. Toothpick inserted into the center, comes out clean. This cake is ready. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna let them cool on these little racks here, on these little mats, and we'll come back when it's time to make the cream cheese frosting. I'll be right back. I just pulled these out of the oven, Aunt Rita, and they look really good. The toothpick inserted comes out clean. All right, we're gonna have carrot cake. I'm getting ready to make the frosting. Okay, we are back and it's time to make the icing or the cream cheese frosting for our beautiful carrot cakes. All right, while they're cooling, and they're cooling really nicely, but we're just gonna let them finish cooling and we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna use my stand mixer and we're gonna make this frosting. All right, so it calls for a half a stick of butter and a stick of margarine, but I don't have any margarine because I don't buy it. So we're just gonna go in with a whole stick of butter. How about that? And I usually use the unsalted butter, but I don't know if it really matters. And it's gonna call for 2 cups of confectioner's sugar or powdered sugar. And you're supposed to sift it, so I'm gonna do that off camera. But I just wanna show you, you have to have some vanilla. Okay, so it calls for 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And of course, the 8-ounce package of cream cheese. Oh, it's got powdered sugar on it. Oops. The 8-ounce package of cream cheese. Of course, so with the vanilla, the cream cheese, the butter, all right, and the sugar, we're gonna make some really nice cream cheese frosting, okay? So I'm gonna just dump everything in here. I'm gonna sift this sugar off camera. This is gonna take a little minute. I'm gonna add the vanilla later on. We're gonna go over to the mixer and we're gonna make a cream cheese frosting, okay? So I'll be back. All right, the cream cheese and the butter. Let's go ahead and drop the mixer down and let's go ahead and get it started. Gonna add my vanilla, teaspoon of vanilla, and the sifted powdered sugar. All right, so this is a little bit of a process, so I'll show you how it looks like, you know, what it looks like, how it comes together. All right. Teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, I've added the powdered sugar, and you see how it's smooth. So we have a pretty good cream cheese, buttery cream cheese frosting with vanilla and powdered sugar. So I'm just letting it whisk, and it's almost done. Okay, so our layers have cooled, and what I have done, I have my cream cheese frosting right here, and I actually have just put down the bottom layer and just put a thin layer of the icing frosting. And so I just wanted to show you guys that. And then I'm going to go back in with this top layer, and then we'll be ready to put the frosting on the whole entire cake, and we will be done and we'll be ready to eat this. I'm making this for Resurrection Sunday. I've never made a carrot cake before in my life, but it's my favorite cake. So I'm excited about this cake. It tastes really good. I tasted a little piece of the cake that kind of broke away from the pan, and it tastes great. All right, so I'm just gonna finish frosting it and I will show you the finished product. All right, hang with me. We're almost done. I'll be back. Okay, so let's see if we can get this one out of the pan as easily as we did the other one. So let's see. Sometimes it's just a little sticky. Trying to do it without tearing the cake up all the way. But it is, I think what it is it's very, very moist. So let's see if we can turn it out onto a plate. Okay, here we have it. Okay, we made it. We turned it out onto this plate. And so now I'm just going to hit that stop. Yeah, stop that timer for me. You can see this is the top layer. So I'm just going to flip it over. Hopefully without tearing it up too much. Okay, so there we have it, guys. And I'll just bite that little piece. Oh my goodness. Oh my Lord. That's good. All right, so now we have our cake. Now we're going to, hope you can see, we're going to do our best to try to ice it. Okay, so I'm making this carrot cake for my family, and I know it's going to be a hit. First time for everything, right? All right, so let's turn this out. The cream cheese frosting, you can see how buttery it is. It's butter, cream cheese, powdered sugar or confectioner sugar, vanilla. It's really all it is. All right, so let's start with this. And I have a little reserve if I need to. Okay, so you can see, I'm just trying to kind of show you up close what we're doing. So you can just kind of follow along with me as I've seen some bakers, call it a crumb coating or something, because this is when you have a very moist cake, it's kind of hard to frost it without sort of tearing it and making it crumbly on top, but we're trying our best. Okay, so, and I don't have one of those fancy turntables that you can put your cake on and then it just kind of turns as you frost the cake. So I'm just trying to do this as gently as possible. And since this is my first time making it, it's like when you make something for the first time, you kind of learn some things and you can figure out what you need to do better the next time. So if this is not just absolutely perfect the first time, it's okay, because I will be making this again. All right, so I'm just going to keep frosting this cake, and I'm going to try to get the sides frosted as well. So I'm just turning it as I go, trying not to tear it. It's a really moist, delicious cake. All right, so you can kind of see how I'm just trying to make a thin layer across the top. Okay, and I'll finish it and I will show you the finished product, and I'll be right back with the finished product of this beautiful carrot cake for Resurrection Sunday. I'll be back. Okay, guys, there you have it. There is the cake. And it's not very tall because the layers are quite thin. So we're going to cut into it tomorrow, so you can kind of see that it is delicious looking. All right, not professional, but it looks really good. All right, I'll give you another angle. From this angle, you can see how we have frosted our cake. And you could see the pans came out pretty clean, so I didn't have a whole lot of tear away. So they came out of the pan pretty clean, the cake did. So now, this is our carrot cake with the real homemade cream cheese frosting. So this is a homemade carrot cake with cream cheese frosting, my Aunt Margarita's recipe. I love you, Auntie, and thank you for the recipe. I would probably do a short maybe and show you some of the things that we're having for Resurrection Sunday. When we cut into this cake, maybe I'll show you a slice. Maybe I'll put a community post and just kind of show you what it looks like just as a slice. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hanging out in the kitchen with me today in First Lady's Kitchen. It is late now. I've been cooking pretty much all day here and there. We're having a great menu for Resurrection Sunday tomorrow, and it is going to be roasted turkey with gravy. We're going to have cornbread dressing with cranberry sauce. We're going to have a pineapple brown sugar glazed ham. We're going to have turnip greens, macaroni and cheese. We're going to have green beans, corn on the cob, potato salad. We're going to have Parker House rolls, banana pudding. I made a banana pudding. Yes, I made a banana pudding. It's a little different recipe. And then, of course, we have this beautiful carrot cake. And I guess I will show you the other thing that I made. In addition to the carrot cake, I'll show you my peach pie that I made. Okay, so this is the peach pie that I made. And you know, everybody loves crust. So it's crust on the bottom, crust on the top. All right. So thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And like this video, share this video, leave me a comment, and let me know what you think about all these beautiful recipes. Let me show you Mr. Tom. Mr. Tom. Mr. Tom Turkey. He's ready for tomorrow. Anyway, happy resurrection. I hope that you all are blessed. Remember that Jesus died, but that's not how the story ends. 3 days later, he rose again. And so I'm thankful that we have Jesus as our Lord and Savior. And we're going to be celebrating tomorrow, Resurrection Sunday. I love you guys. Until the next video. All right. I'll see you in the next video. And be blessed. All right. I'll take you back over. One more final look at the carrot cake. All right, you guys. Be blessed. Bye-bye now. That's the banana pudding. The banana pudding. The banana pudding is almost gone. And this is the peach pie. Now we're going to cut the carrot cake. Oh. Let's see.
Yeah.
Right there.
David Black one, he got fired the year.
All right, we're going to cut the carrot cake. Are y'all ready? We'll put it right here.
We knew this was going to be a blowout. Wow. But I think my favorite is on Facebook. I mean, that's a great photo all time. I saw it. Yeah, that was a good color. Oh, yeah. All courses take.
Cream cheese frosting, y'all. There it is. There it is. I'll turn it over this way and we can get a picture of it.
Oh, well, we know that. But it's just hard.
Right.
Everybody can't afford kind of team. Not the second coat.
Got a pink
No,
that off.
that wasn't the deal. The owner makes it.
Delicious.
It's
so good. It's so good, y'all. Get a picture of
So
that.
we got rid of that.
Thank you. All right. Carrot cake, y'all. Aunt Rita, your recipe is delicious, Aunt Rita. I love you. All right, till the next video. Y'all be blessed.